What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. I want to start with a report out of the NFC South. First let's talk about a fake report that you may have seen. If you see a report that the Vikings are inquiring about a trade for Derek Carr, just know that this was all spurred by a fake Twitter account.
Anybody believes that any team in the National Football League would trade any asset for Derek Carr, shame on you.
Yahoo Sports believed it. A lot of outlets did. I got a friend who works for the Vikings, who's the one who sent me the original message, and I'm with you. My kind of red flag started to go up a little bit, and then sure enough, you click on the account, and it's beautifully done. The name is Scott Erickson, and it's just a generic like kind of journalist headshot, white guy, suit, no tie. Mm-hmm. You've seen it a million times. And so people took it at face value. Yes, there's the picture, Jake. Tell me that doesn't. I mean, Scott Erickson with that picture attached.
Yes.
You think he's a local Indianapolis or local Minneapolis TV guy?
Yeah.
Like 1,000%. He's not. It's a fake account. The tweet has millions of views. Do not be fooled. Derek Carr will not be taken off of your hands by the Minnesota Vikings. He will be your quarterback. He needs to be protected, like we talk about all the time. That may have gotten a bit tougher as the Atlanta Falcons
minus the May
just traded a third-round pick to the New England Patriots for Matthew Judon. Of course, if you don't know who Judon is, maybe you have short-term memory as he tore his bicep last year, so I think he only played in 4 games. But in 2021, he had 12.5 sacks. In 22, he had 15.5 sacks. His 15.7% pressure rate is 7th in the NFL over the last 3 years. Now, like Kirk Cousins, he is 32 years old, and he's coming off of an injury. So there's something to watch there. But this is
run past your tackle.
This is the sort of move that it kind of feels like maybe it cements the Falcons as NFC South favorites, especially because it comes at a time in which you are less confident in your offensive line than you ever have been. Also, the Red Sleeves work in Atlanta as well, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, they do. He's a good player. Is he in his absolute prime? No, he's not, but he is still a very good player that can get after the quarterback, and it is going to give you yet another thing to fret about when you going against the Falcons. And the Falcons have stockpiled a lot of talent. Now, talent only gets you so far. We all know that. But when you look at their roster, they've put together. Now, they've had some injuries at receiver, injuries at, edge rusher. That's why you go make a move like this. But still, it's a talented team. And when you get a new head coach, it feels like it can go one way or the other. But there seems to be a lot of excitement in that locker room. They feel like they have their coach that they want to play for after Arthur Smith kind of ran them into the ground. And it is a team that feels like they're going to be there for the totality of the season, going toe-to-toe with you.
Yeah, you might have missed this as well. This move makes sense also because the Falcons had drafted Washington pass rusher Braylon Trice in the 3rd round. He tore his ACL, unfortunately. Huge bummer for the rookie, so he's out. They'd also tried to trade for Montez Sweat last year. They tried to trade up for Laiatu Latu during this year's draft. So they finally found their guy. And, Jeff Duncan on NOLA.com today has a very good piece on Trevor Penning. It's a very quick read, but basically it says, is it too early to give up on Trevor Penning? And I believe the majority of Saints fans would say no, right? Majority of Saints fans say no. We've seen it. He's broken. He sucks. He's done. But Jeff, having done this for a long time, provides us a couple of concrete examples that we can look at to see which one will he be. On one hand, there's Charles Brown. And that's basically who Penny has been up to this point. Charles Brown was a 2nd-round pick in the 2010 draft. Never started. 3 years later, finally given a chance to start in 2013. And in a game against the Rams, he was benched mid-game. And real Saints fans will remember this post-game press conference. It was pretty infamous. Sean Payton was pissed, and he said, I saw enough, period. Needless to say, Charles Brown never made it.
Nope.
On the other hand, you have John Stinchcomb, drafted 37 overall in 2003. So very much a borderline first-round pick. He didn't start a game in his first 3 seasons. He, too, was labeled a massive bust. Eventually, somehow, through patience and I guess hard work and just perseverance, he became an everyday starter, and he actually made the Pro Bowl in 2009.
I forgot Stinch's brother played for the Saints.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. So it's like if you want to, in terms of what's more likely, it's probably, I'm leaning towards the Charles Brown piece here. But Stinchcomb, if you want to be positive or you want to try to be optimistic, Stinchcomb's own journey is a great example that, look, sometimes it takes guys longer to learn. And Penny was drafted as a project originally.
I saw that yesterday, and there's something to that. He probably was, but also the Saints had a need at tackle, so I don't know how much I believe it was like a 3-year plan.
Well, they had probably not 3 years, not 3 years.
That's kind of the way it was.
They had Ramchick and they had
Pete, but he was more of a guard. I mean, he had to kick out to tackle out of necessity.
But who was it? Landon? No, not Landon Young. That's who they have now. There was another. There's another veteran tackle they felt okay about in the short term, but no, definitely not
Hurst?
3 years. Yeah, maybe it was Hurst. It wasn't a 3-year plan though. Certainly,
Right. You don't draft anybody in any round really for a 3-year.
No, because then their
plan.
contract's up.
Yes.
And it's like, what was the point of all this then? But so look, there is maybe that's a little bit of hope again. It does feel like Penning it's still kind of 1 step forward, 2 steps back in terms of what's most likely. I don't think he'll develop, but it's possible. I mean, I remember Joe Barksdale, who was a very good college player, very good NFL player eventually. I remember Joe talking to him before, I think it was like year 7 in the NFL, and he was like, I finally know football. Right?
Right,
So
yeah.
so the rate at which guys learn and the depth of what there is to be learned goes, I think, far deeper than we sometimes give credit for. And maybe Penning eventually starts to figure it out somewhat this year and then can continue to climb. Because he does have an incredible natural talent, or at least size and ability, that not many have. He just has no idea how to employ it correctly right now.
I don't know what to tell him to get his confidence back. Sometimes it never comes back. Sometimes it clicks like T-Bob's talking about, and it happens. It can happen within a game. You stop an edge rusher that everybody knows, one of the stars of the league, and you're like, oh, I can do this. Oh, let me get confidence. And I swear it can happen like that in the game. I have seen it happen from running backs that were playing behind me, and they had confidence issues, and all of a sudden they make one guy, one Pro Bowl safety miss in the hole, and then the rest of that season you see a different player. Like, I've seen it happen within a game in the NFL. Maybe that does, but again, right now, Trevor Penning has the yips to the highest of yiptivity.
Yeah.
Okay? He is out there. All technique is lost, right? I'm sure he has a plan going into the game, but after the first snap, it's all out the window, and he's just trying to do whatever he can to survive. It is a bad place to be in, and I don't know if he can't do it in the preseason, if he can just get that done in the regular season. All his technique goes out the window. All the things that he learned at all these offensive line summits that he went to over the spring and summer, it looks like he completely forgot it, and that is troublesome, worrisome, whatever you want to call it, for the Saints, because they have to make a decision here pretty quick. They've either got to say, you know what, we got to put a veteran guy in there whose ceiling is nowhere close to what we think Trevor's can be, but also his floor is nowhere close to where Trevor's is right now.
Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.